Now, file and directory permissions. And this lecture actually is very important. So after executing the command ls-l, we have this following. You can see that this string, what are these strings? D, what is D? RWX, what is this? Dashes, what are those? This number, what is Ubuntu? What is Ubuntu here? What is this number? What is this desktop or whatever? Now, actually, this desktop, this is the folder, and this is test.txt. This is the name of the file, okay? But you can see that it has a lot of attributes and details. So here, these ones on the left, as you can see, these indicate is the nature of the file and the type of the execution or the permissions for these. So you can see that this directory, the desktop directory, it has D, which means this is a directory. But on the other hand, the test.txt here, it has dash, which means this is a regular file. Of course, we have other types like links, special file, symbolic link, all of that, and so on, etc., etc. Okay, these are the type of the file or the directory. Okay, this is directory and this is a regular file. R, which means read, write, execute. Okay, this is for read. This is read, and it has write and it has execute. But these for what? These are for the owner. Which is the owner? This is the Ubuntu user. The Ubuntu user is the owner of this file, or the owner user of this file. And the Ubuntu here is the group owner of this file or this directory. Okay, so the owner, the user, and the group. So the owner user is Ubuntu, the owner group is Ubuntu, and this, the first 3 bits, these for the owner, the second 3 bits for the group owner, and the third 3 bits is for like the others. Okay, so for example, we have user called John. It will be included under these 3. Let's have the other example, that is the text here. We can find that it is read, write, execute for the owner, which is the Ubuntu, correct? For the group, what is it? Correct, you are right. That it has only read and write and no execution, as you can see, for the owner. For the others, what it has? Correct, it has read only. So you can see others can read this file, read only. They cannot modify or something like this, okay? Now, don't worry, we will talk about these in details, a low-level details, in the few slides and in the next lecture, in the hands-on. But for now, keep that on your mind. This is another example, the file.lnk. So you can see that the file type here actually is L, which means this is a link file. So, okay, I want to ask you a few questions. You can pause the video and see yourself if you can answer or not. So, what is the owner of this file? Correct, it is the Ubuntu. What is the group owner of this file? Correct, it is the Ubuntu. Okay, now what is the permission for the owner group? Yes, it is read and execute only. As you can see, the first 3 bits for the owner, the second 3 bits for the group, and the third 3 bits for the others. So what are the permission for the others? Are they allowed to use this file? No, they are not allowed. Correct. Now, don't worry. We will talk about each of these parts, all values, all numbers, names, etc. in the next few slides. No worries at all. So you can see that there we have 3 different types, as we mentioned before: the D for directory, dash for a regular file, L for link or symbolic link. Okay, we already mentioned that. And also we have 3 different permissions: read, write, execute, R for read, W for write, and X for execute. Okay, and now what is the permission for files versus directory? Now again, for example, the execute for file is different than the execute of directory. So it will be like this. R, which means for as binary, this is to allow files to be read. Okay, this is for the file. But for the directory, this is to allow files inside directory to be read. So this means that this directory or folder, any file inside it, it will be read. It can be read. But the file, this is to allow the file itself to be read. Okay. Now the write permission for the file to allow files to be modified. So for example, a text file, you want to write to it and add new extra lines. This can be if it has the right permission. But the directory, this is to allow entries inside directory to be modified, which means if you want to create new files, copy files to this directory, create new files on this directory, this is the right permission for the directory. But the execution here is as one, as you can see, as the binary. And this is to allow files to be executed. Okay. So for example, we have .python file, .java file, .c++, etc., etc. .sh, which is a bash script file. Don't worry, we will have that in details later on. Okay, so this can be, if this file has the execution permission, it can be executed. But on the other hand, the directory, this is to allow us to go inside the directory using the cd command. So for example, we have a directory called dir1 or folder1, okay? And this folder1 doesn't have, for the others, okay, the execute permission. We cannot go to it. The others cannot go to it. Cannot use the cd command to it. It will give us a permission denied. No worries. We will have that in details, a low-level details actually, and you will understand everything in the hands-on lecture, the next lecture. No worries. But for now, please keep that on your mind. Now, the permission categories actually is the U, which stands for user or the owner. We have the G for the group, and we have the O for the others, and A for all, which means the owner group other or user group other. So what is the most important commands that we will use? The ls-l, this is to show us a long list command or long list format to show what is the current permission for this specific file or directory. We will use the chmod command. This is the change mode of the file or directory. And we have, for example, chmod 777. This is to change the mode of the directory to give us allow everything for everyone. Okay. Now again, please keep that in your mind as an example. Don't worry, we will have everything in details. What is the meaning of this and how to change a specific mode or specific permission for specific files or directory in details in the next lecture. But for now, keep in your mind that the first 7, which is the owner or the user, as we learned previously. The second 7 is for the group owner, okay, or the group. And the third 7 here actually is for the other. And as we learned previously from here, okay, that 4 stands for read, W stands for to or for write, and X1, which is stand for executable. If you sum these together, 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So that's why it will has a 7 permission, which means read and write and execute. This is the numerical way. Okay. Now again, don't worry. We will have another way actually, which is much better. Or they are the same. Depends on what you prefer. How to change mode or permission for this specific file by using this command, chmod. Now instead of using numerical way for this specific file, we will use the UGO. U stands for the owner or the user. G stands for the group owner, and O stands for other, equal read, write, execute. So which means that this file will have full permission and this to assign this specific permission. By the way, with this command, we can use plus to add an extra or minus to remove specific command. Okay, to remove specific permission. Again, keep that on your mind for now. This is just a theory part. In the next lecture, we will have that in details and you will practice with me step by step. We have the ID command. This is to print real and effective user and group IDs. So you can see that what is the current user that running this specific command. So also we will use the groups. This is to print the groups a user is in. So for example, I'm using Ubuntu user, and when I type the groups, it will show us what is the current groups or groups, the name of the user. For example, groups John, it will show the John's groups. chown to change the owner of the file and the group as well. chgrb or change group ownership. This is to change the group owner. And these commands are very important actually. Again, we will have these in details in the next lecture, the hands-on lecture. Now, in Linux, we have a special permissions as well, not just read, write, execute. So these permissions allow the file executed to be executed with the privileges of the owner or the group owner as well. So for example, we have the S small or S capital instead of the X bit. Okay. So S here actually, our file directory already has X bit when it is S small. But when it is S capital, this means that it doesn't has X bit, executable, not allowed or set. Okay. Again, I know you are getting confused right now, a lot of information, a lot of things, but no worries, just focus and just follow me, all right? For now, just follow me, no worries. So keep that in your mind. We have two special permissions, S small and S capital. When it is S capital, like this, which means the executable permission is not allowed or is not here, which means dash. But when it is S small, which means that we have executable bit here. As well, we have T small and T capital. Okay, so T small, which means that directory already has X bit. These and T capital, which is directory doesn't have X bit, executable permission not allowed. Now S for regular files and T for the directory and folders. Okay, or the directory, they are the same, by the way. Directory and folders, they are the same, but different name. You know, we already mentioned that. Directory for Linux, folder for Windows, just a name. Now there are three special permissions as well: the SUD, the setUID, the SGID, the setGID, and sticky bit. Okay, so SUID here is a special permission assigned to file. These permissions allow the file being executed to be executed with the privileges of the owner. So for example, if a file was owned by the root user and has the setUID bit set, which is the S bit as we saw here, which is the S1, okay? And so this means that this file, no matter who executed the file, it would be always run with the root user privileges. And this actually is very important and very crucial file. So for example, you have a file, a bash script file, .sh file, has the execution bit or the setUID bit assigned to it. For example, which is the S command here, the S small in that case, because we need it to be executable after all. So the S is executable, which then, and the owner is the root. So this file will be run as the root user, even if I am running it using Ubuntu user or using John user, whatever. So this will be run as the root user. So this is what is the meaning of setUID or SUID permission. We have the SGID, which is when the set group bit is set and execute run to the authority of the group owner. So for example, if a file was owned by the user group, no matter who executed, it will always run with the authority of the user's group itself. So for example, the owner group is root and you execute this file using the Ubuntu user or John user or group. In that case, actually it is group. So actually it will be run as the root. It will not be running as Ubuntu user or John user. Okay. Finally, we have the sticky bit. So when the sticky bit is set on a directory, only the root user or the owner of the directory and the owner of the file can remove files within said directory. So for example, this is something very common in the temp directory. You can see that we have a lot of users in the system. For example, 10, 100 user, for example, 200 user, etc., etc. And you want this user to never remove other people's files. So you will set the sticky bit for this directory. So any files inside this directory will not be removed by other users. Only the owner of this files can remove its own file, or the root, by the way. Okay, the root, of course, it is the admin. It should remove everything and control everything. So by this way, you will make sure no one can go to other people's files or remove other people's files. Okay. Now let's have examples for the Linux special permission and how to provide this actually. So how to provide the S sticky bit or the S small S capital or the T small T capital which is the SUID, GUID, sticky bit. How to actually to do that using the commands, the regular commands we want. Now this is an example. chmod, as you can see, not 777, it is 0777. So this is to give a full permission but with no special permission at all. We have the chmod 4, which is the full permission but with setuid bit. Okay. We have 2. This is to full permission but with setgid bit. As you can see, 4, 2. Then what do you expect the third will be here, which is 1. Correct. chmod 1 777. This is for permission with sticky bit. Now I want to ask you a question. How to provide a permission with setuid, setgid, and sticky bit? Depends on what we learned previously. Yes, correct. We will use chmod 7777. Okay. So this is actually, it will give a setuid, a setgid, and sticky bit permission for this specific file or directory. By the way, keep in your mind the sticky bit is for directory most likely, and setuid, setgid is for files. Okay. But for now, keep that in your mind. Don't worry. I know you a lot of information, a lot of data here. I know. Just keep focus with me and keep that in your mind. We will have all of that in details in the next lecture. Okay, the hands-on lecture. By the way, we can use another way, actually not the numerical way here. You can see that we can use the UGO, which is the owner group other, plus S, which means that increase the special permission setuid, setgid. So this will add a special permission for this specific file, setuid, setgid for this specific file or directory. Okay, and we can use the T as well. As you can see, this is to add a special permission, the sticky bit as well. Thanks for watching. Again, in the next lecture, we will have all of that or all of what we learned in details. So don't worry. I know a lot of information. I know you got confused. Okay, now what I recommend you to do, actually, I suggest you to rewatch this lecture again. Okay, so for the information to be fresh and to get all the information from this lecture, the theory lecture, and you will be ready in the next lecture, the hands-on lecture, to start practice with me step by step. Okay? Okay, I will see you in the next lecture.